Xbox has a few titles up their sleeve for 2025, one of which is the long-suffering Perfect Dark reboot, sequel. I would imagine it's probably a reboot, at least that jawline is strong enough to carry a reinvention of the franchise, but it's been a long time, especially going all the way back to the launch of the 360 was the last time that we've seen Joanna Dark, or at least the last time we'll ever see that iteration of Joanna Dark in practice, and now we just get Big Bad Bruising Joe Dark. And whenever this game comes out, hopefully it'll be good, because remember, Xbox used to be the place, man. It used to be the place for shooters. They had the controller for it. They had the franchises to back it up. If you wanted the premier FPS experience on clown sticks, you would go ahead and hop into a game of Halo. Or if you wanted some waist-high cover, you would just go ahead and slide with the big beefy cats from Gears of War. And oh yeah, there's that prequel coming out from the not Epic Games crew, which, boy, at this point in time, it's like, which one of your favorite franchises is actually still being made by its original development crew that made it a legendary franchise to begin with? But no, don't worry, because Rare's totally going to be working on Perfect Dark. Oh wait, no, it's whoever developed Perfect Dark Zero. Oh wait, it's the hacks that made the pathetic Spider-Man 2 and was also behind all of that awful looking leaked footage we've seen from PlayStation's Marvel's Wolverine, the Insomniac abortion that they have crapped out in some form or fashion. I guess maybe that's coming out next year, but oh god, I'm not looking forward to that at all, even though it's like, Wolverine's one of my favorite superheroes, all things considered. So no, in this story right here, we've got two big budget games, high budget games, premier titles in a year that Sony basically took its sweet ass time, and Xbox, well, what even did they release in 2024? Indiana Jones is just right at the front of everybody's mind, but that's not a hit at all whatsoever. Oh, well, Game Pass. No. It's garbage, but I can't even remember anything good, memorable that came out from Xbox this year, like even any of the breakout hits, like Stellar Blade, exclusive to Sony. Black Myth Wukong, same thing. Rebirth, of course. Helldivers 2. Like, the list goes on, and Xbox is just nowhere to be found. But yeah, 2025 is going to be a little bit more of a return to form. It's just, unfortunately, it's a return to the modern AAA gaming space form. So remember when this story broke about a month ago, and we talked about this guy because he is quite a piece of work. We're talking Brian Horton, who is the creative director of Marvel's Wolverine, PlayStation exclusive, made by Insomniac, is now the creative director of Perfect Dark over at Xbox, being made by the new studio, The Initiative. Okay, Horton, though previously directing Wolverine, has not been on the project since this past summer. Totillo's report, Stephen Totillo. If anybody makes you gag more in the gaming space than Jason Schreier, leave it to Stephen Totillo. But yes, Marcus Smith is running the ship over at Insomniac with Wolverine. Mike Daly being the game director. Also, the duo had the same roles in the well-received Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I heard decent things about that, and given the fact that I got that, PlayStation Clown box, I should probably check out some of those early release games. Not like there's a huge back catalog of the PlayStation 5 anyway, so if you can get a cheap game, it's kind of like the new ones that are coming out. They're all basically the same. It doesn't matter if it came out 4 years ago, because it's still just as new as anything else that's coming out. The change was due to creative decisions with the game, apparently, and Horton, previously the Miles Morales director, is gone. Sony is issuing no official comment on the reasoning here. Perfect Dark had been a solid-looking trailer at the Xbox showcase and has been in development for the combination of the Initiative and Crystal Dynamics, pitching the game for years now. Oh god, so I didn't realize how screwed this game ultimately was. So yeah, now you've got somebody who's going to be directing a first-person shooter, because that's traditionally what Perfect Dark has been, so unless they're reimagining it that way, you got somebody who has worked on third-person platformers and third-person action games. Yeah, this is going to be a mess. And couple that with a level designer that would give Matt Hansen over at Obsidian a run for his crazy money, and you have, oh boy, another recipe for disaster. Don't worry. If you thought that 2024 was simply going to be a pocket year for the AAA gaming studio where they could just go ahead and package everything up and leave what's in the past and move forward all bright and cheery-eyed, Ain't happening. Perfect Dark Level Designer claims gamers were a mistake. It's part of a long history of unhinged attack on fans. Why do these people continue to get work if they hate their industry so much? The Level Designer for Perfect Dark claimed that gamers were a mistake. And that's just one in a long line of incendiary statements the developer lobbed at paying customers. Kolbe Payne, a level designer of the upcoming reboot for Perfect Dark, has a lot to say about the people who might purchase his game. The designer's long-standing hatred for the very people that keep him employed was exposed by John Trent of Fandom Pulse in a recent article. His comments started back in 2021, when gamers voiced objection to figures of Norse mythology being race-swapped in a God of War Ragnarok. And guess what? They were right on that. For as much as I'll defend the story of God of War Ragnarok, it's very, very good. You're missing out if you aren't engaged with that one. But yeah, what's the weakest part of the story? Yeah, the Sweet Baby Ink part of it. Norse and Greek mythology, despite being deeply rooted in Norse and Greek culture, we kind of know that, are always ripe for the picking when it comes to Hollywood race swaps. Yes, when gamers pointed this out, Payne threw a little baby fit over it and called them racist pigs. The fact that it's 2021 and gamers still get mad over a character being black just boggles my mind. No, you race swap them. That's always a big problem because there's never concrete justification for that. There's one exception that added to a story, but you can't use the exception to disprove the rule. Especially in this case, it's like there was no reason for it. You just needed to, in the words of Kim Beller over at Sweet Baby Inc., we needed to see ourselves in the games. Okay, we needed to have better representation in these games. So you're telling a Norse story about the Greek god of war, and you're trying to figure out, so where did the black people come in on this one? It's like, thanks, your input is invaluable. But Angrboda looks absolutely stunning. Whatever. Props to all those devs who worked on her. She's without a doubt the most interesting character. All you seen was a picture of her back in September of 2021 because the game wouldn't release for another year at that point in time. She looks absolutely stunning. She's a teenager, you ped. Probably over on Blue Sky now, so he could be with like-minded people. The race swapping of Angrboda is the creative decision many attributed to the maligned narrative design firm, yes, Sweet Baby Inc., which worked on the Santa Monica Studios title. Yeah, back when they used to be proud and out about the projects that they worked on. Yeah, God of War Ragnarok was definitely their golden child. They would also try to take credit for Alan Wake 2, but is that still turned a profit? No. Is it ever pushed the game into the black? No. Okay, don't worry about it. I'm sure they're hard at work at Alan Wake 3. Don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll be great. But oh yes, okay, let's white knight for one of the worst games ever made. Okay, Laura Bailey, on the threats that she received for her role as Abby brought me to tears. Yes, The Last of Us Part 2, that atrocious character. Can you provide any of the receipts for that? Okay. Or were you just getting golf memes in your DMs? It's like, just close them if it's difficult. And if it's a bunch of speds online, they're speds online. Welcome to the internet, baby. Then you got Kolbe down there again, saying gamers were a mistake. I'll be completely honest, anybody who paid, Last of Us Part 2 more than just passing fancy at that, okay, like if you just watched through a playthrough, because basically that was the big takeaway on that one. Like, the gameplay has always been archaic in The Last of Us. So whether you watch a playthrough or you just, slug your way through it yourself, you're getting the exact same experience. But yeah, Abby was an awful character, but yes, her inclusion just kind of added to the bigger problem with that, and that was the script was absolute ass, bro. In February of 2023, Payne responded to an article on reported harassment brought by on actress Laura Bailey. Yeah, her reported harassment couldn't really back anything up. And of course, no one would support harassment, or threats made by anyone, but didn't provide any receipts, of course, without the mistake this gamer. Yes, Payne wouldn't have a job. Yes, if adding female protagonists to video games is all it takes to make the worst people you've ever met not want to play them, we should add female protagonists to every game. Yeah, exactly. And then you end up with the industry that you have right now that is on the brink of collapse. Good call on that one, stupid. What is this, back in 2023, where at that point in time, every single franchise had a female protagonist, a lead female protagonist, and they were of varying levels of quality. Mission accomplished. Almost like those worst people don't mind and kind of like a female protagonist every once in a while. Just as long as they're well written or their game is fun to play and it's not a lecture session. An exercise in cognitive dissonance, wondering how in a post-apocalyptic wasteland somebody can get to be the size of in their prime Sylvester Stallone. His desire to push gamers out of gaming has a real this job would be great if it wasn't for all the customers vibe to it. Oh, that's kind of funny. Payne attacked gamers again in June, referring to them as bigots during Pride Month. Cool. Seeing a lot of comments turned off for Pride Month posts. I wish all the bigots kindly F off. and learn to love others for who they are. Interesting. God, man, this guy's lack of self-awareness is just amazing. I bet you, because he's a level designer, like if he probably makes some of the best hallways possible, because this guy lives in tunnel vision 24/7. After fandom pulse exposed the toxic and hateful rhetoric, Payne deactivated his X account. Hey, shout out to him, but I'm sure he probably still has a Blue Sky account, because, everybody needs a wall to yell at, or some miners to ogle. Bunch of freaks over there. Rebooted Perfect Dark has already come under fire for the gaming world due to the modern day redesign of the main character. Yes, Joanna Dark has become too typical in the gaming world. Let's just go and check. What does her design look like? Yep, a modern day, bro. And she can actually have that. She can have that tattooed in big block letters from one jaw point all the way to the other and still have room for advertisements. Perfect Dark was announced back in 2020. However, it is believed that the game won't actually release until 2026. Yeah, and who knows? I'm recording this before the Game Awards, and yeah, this is coming out. I think I have it scheduled for Sunday. Don't quote me on that. So yeah, if we get another trailer and we get a little bit of an update, some release window, or hell, even a release date, we'll know what day to mark off on our calendars in the very near future to go ahead and skip this release. Yuck. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.